One thing that I think that we should do as a society is try to educate these prisoners. They are the parents of the next generation, and uh, with the way that the apples don't fall far from the trees, to make any kind of real change in this country, we have to get these younger people to exceed expectation. To keep up with the rest of the world, our nation has to rise in the education department. We have to be a more aware nation, a nation that understands that we need to educate these people who are in prison. If we're going to privatize prisons and we're going to try to give it more of a capitalist spin, then I think it would behoove us to try to go to these libraries and some of the books that are being thrown away or given away for free to be packaged up and taken down to the jails so that these prisoners have a vast assortment of things to educate themselves on. I was personally in a jail in Dayton, Ohio, where I seen a man who was a Muslim and he was denied the Quran. And I know it's a popular Christian thing to sort of snuff it off and show the superiority of the Christian belief. But he does have a right to further his education and his faith, which is something that most people find very useful while they're incarcerated. Um, there was a big to do about it, and then he finally did what they call the one page and left. And I can't say that I blame him because I believe he served less time once he did that than he would have if he stayed. Um, there are a lot of things that don't make sense in the new privatized setting of prisons. Um, I know one of them is, the structure is set up to learn, which is a step in the right direction. They teach you things like forward thinking skills and critical thinking skills, which is good. But they need to teach also the importance of birth control. They need to teach people different things about the way to properly attain help from your county. They need to have people in there to educate them on how to use intravenous drugs. If they're going to, they might as well be educated at it. And I believe firmly that a lot of these people should be made to not be able to breathe. And I know that's not popular, but if you take a look at it, and this girl has 6 kids, and she's 30, and she's in prison. We don't know where these kids are, who's taking care of these kids. She's not capable of having more children. And to have that choice as an individual to go ahead and continue this reckless lifestyle that has led to the demise of probably these 6 children and other people around in the codependency roles of the missing parent that's institutionalized. It has to come back on them at some point that their decision making is affecting our society in the way of finances and assistance, and it's also creating more of the same problem for next generation and the generations to come. I know it's not that expensive to take an IUD, I believe it's called, and stick it in the arm of a female to prevent her from bleeding. And it could only be taken out by a doctor. And I don't understand why it is that we can't do that. If she's already on the system and can't afford the children she has, we may as well give her one so that she has birth control that she can't mess up. And then we will allow her to take it out when she gets her life together. I don't think that's too much to ask. You'll probably have do-gooders out here, and they get paid to carry their signs. Most protesters are actually paid to protest. It's not a real, from the heart thing. Um, as a politician, you have to have the bullocks to be able to come out and say, this is what we're going to do, and do it. And you'll find the financial benefits from that would be enormous. Not only that, but the education involved in it. Seeing what it is that we can do to curb the breeding cycle of the people who are causing the most problems in this country. Another situation that I ran into is that they're allowing people from jail to vote. And the big bully, uh, Trump, probably has most of your, ignorant, um, and most of them being in jail, affiliated with gangs, and being that bully mindset of Trump, probably will get most of those votes. And they did start that at the end of the Trump campaign. So I'm sure someone has already figured out we can pull a lot of votes, white votes especially, out of the prisons for Trump. And it will affect these counties with the bigger jails if they're starting to lose those counties. I think it's worth looking at. There's many things to do, but I'd say go out here, especially churches, get the books that are free at the libraries, package them up, and be persistent. We need to give these people something to believe in, like themselves, as they learn to read. And our children will benefit because they'll be smarter when they get out of jail. If we do the plan with the birth control for human services and them working with the jails, and of course going through the lawyers and all the litigations, we can actually curb the breeding cycle, which is, I think, a great idea myself.